Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the perfect world that became hell. Just imagine someone gives you a house where you'll never have to work again. Food is unlimited, water is unlimited, no enemies, no bills, no stress. Everything you could ever want is already there. Sounds like paradise, right? But what if I told you that this exact perfect world wiped out an entire society? Not because of war, not because of disease, not because of hunger, but because life became too comfortable. And the most shocking part? Many people believe we're slowly walking down the same road. Today we're talking about the Calhoun effect, one of the strangest and most disturbing experiments ever conducted. The man behind the experiment. Back in the 1960s, an American scientist named John B. Calhoun had a question that sounded surprisingly simple. What happens when living beings have everything they need? Most people would probably answer, they'll live happily ever after. Calhoun wasn't satisfied with guesses, so he decided to test it. And what happened next shocked the scientific world. Universe 25. A world without problems. Calhoun built a giant enclosure for mice. It wasn't an ordinary cage. It was designed to be a paradise. Unlimited food, unlimited clean water, comfortable temperature, safe nesting areas, no predators, no diseases, no shortage of resources. The mice didn't have to struggle for survival. Their only job was to live. At first, everything looked perfect. The mice explored their new home, formed families, and started having babies. Population kept growing. It seemed like Calhoun had created the perfect society, or at least, that's what everyone thought. When paradise started cracking. As time passed, the population exploded. Even though there was still plenty of food and water, something strange began happening. The mice became aggressive. Fights broke out for no obvious reason. Some mothers stopped caring for their babies. Others abandoned them completely. Young mice grew up without learning normal social behavior. Some isolated themselves. Others became strangely violent. And then, a completely new group appeared. The beautiful ones. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones. These mice looked perfect. Their fur was clean. They never fought, never searched for mates, never defended territory, never raised families. They simply ate, slept, cleaned themselves, and ignored everyone else. From the outside, they looked healthy, but inside, they had completely given up on life. Imagine living your entire life without purpose, without challenges, without responsibility, without ambition. That's exactly what happened. The collapse of an entire society. Eventually, birth rates crashed. Very few babies survived. The older generation died. No healthy new generation replaced them. And one by one, every single mouse disappeared. Here's the terrifying part. There was still plenty of food, still clean water, still safety. Nothing had run out, except the will to live as a functioning society. A civilization with everything collapsed from within. Does this apply to humans? Now here's where things get interesting. Whenever people hear this story, they immediately ask, is humanity heading toward the same fate? It's an interesting question, but we should be careful. Humans are not mice. Our societies are far more complex. We create cultures, values, families, technology, art, and meaning in ways that mice simply can't. Many scientists believe Universe 25 shouldn't be treated as a prediction of humanity. However, the experiment does raise uncomfortable questions. What happens when people lose purpose? When loneliness increases, when communities become weaker, when comfort replaces growth? These aren't answers the experiment gives us, but they are questions worth thinking about. The moral lesson. Maybe happiness isn't about having everything. Maybe humans actually need challenges. We need goals. We need responsibilities. We need relationships. Because sometimes, a life that's too easy can become just as dangerous as a life that's too hard. The Calhoun effect isn't really about mice. It's about reminding us that comfort alone doesn't create a meaningful life. Purpose does. So, what do you think? Was Universe 25 just a mouse experiment, or does it still have something important to teach us today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy fascinating stories that make you question the world around you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, because the next story might completely change the way you see life.